Hey everybody, this is Greg Ryder. I'm with my partner Ricardo Caruso. We want to say thank you for joining us with our hangout today. You there, Ricardo?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, Greg. Nice to be here. Nice to see you.
All right, so here's what's going on. I'm the CEO of Angel Investors Network, and Ricardo is the CEO of Report Card Marketing, which is a new division of Angel Investors Network. And today we're going to rock your world with a webinar, web class, whatever you want to call it, on lead magnets, list building on steroids. And our goal for you at the end of this is to really understand the importance of list building. We're going to bat it back and forth. I've got a PowerPoint, but Ricardo's going to jump in when he wants to. But our goal is to really get you to understand that the money is in the list, right? You got everything starts with a client list, a lead, a prospect list, and the list, right? So we want to help you build your list with the proper strategies, the proper tools, the proper techniques. But really, people think they have a handle on this, but we're going to show you today all of the nuances that take your conversions up and take your take rates up. And matter of fact, Ricardo, why don't you talk real quick, a minute or so, on the difference between sending traffic to a landing page that converts at 5% to one that converts at 10%, and the conversion process and the analytics side of lead magnets. And I really want Ricardo to talk about that, because the whole idea that we start report card marketing is everything we do from a marketing standpoint should be based on a report card, what we look like when we started and our progress as we go. So I'll hand it off to you for a second.
Absolutely. Thank you, Greg. So first of all, we want to have a key focus on generating revenue, right? And as you mentioned, Greg, you mentioned the power is in the list. So we have two ways to generate revenue. One is from your existing, and the second one is you don't have that base, you want to increase that base, and one way of doing it, landing page where we're going to be like a magnet, right, and sending traffic to that page. It's going to be capturing names and emails your database. So from a perspective, what we want to do is to add variables to this landing page test. So I can tell you, for instance, that recently, for one of one thing that we have done is to make this landing page with a different color, like in the background. One was white and one was orange. Why orange is because usually orange is something that prompts the user to action, and so to a greater conversion. And as a matter of fact, the difference that we saw running an A/B test was amazing. We went from a 1.5% conversion to 10% conversion, so 6 times, only by changing the color of the background page on the site.
And that's the kind of stuff. And I just took Ricardo. I handed him some headsets because Ricardo, it wasn't sounding right. So I don't know if your microphone was picking up the speakers, but you were kind of going in and out there, and the audio quality wasn't that good. We're gonna have to get you a Yeti microphone one of these days. So hopefully that helps a little bit. I think it got a little bit better. So it's just so important. We can't stress how important it is that you understand what lead magnets are, and that's why we're doing this webinar. So we want to introduce you to report card marketing, introduce you to who we are, what we're all about, and at the end of this, we are going to give you a link to a report, and maybe you already got that with the email, because we want to give you a little 11-page report called Lead Magnets, List Building on Steroids, that you can print out, put it on your nightstand or by your desk, and keep it and really refer to it a lot, because this is really, really important. And when we start, everything we do with every customer starts with, what are the lead magnets? What are those? Fine-tuning and optimizing those, because it doesn't make sense to drive traffic to a website and then not be able to capture a lead or an order, right? It's that's what it's all about. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to dive into this PowerPoint. And by the way, Ricardo's like, hey, I want to see your PowerPoint. I'm like, well, you're going to see it live. So he hasn't seen this yet, so he can comment on it as we go as well. So let me share my screen. Start screen share, and you guys should see number 1, lead magnet, right? So let's go ahead and dive into this. So really, let's start with the basics and kind of get everyone on the same page. What is a lead magnet, right? A lead magnet is a small chunk of value that solves a specific, and we have specific big letters underlined, problem for a specific market that is offered in exchange for an opt-in. So another word that we use with this is called ethical bribe, right? So what is it that you can offer somebody that's going to help them with a specific problem that they're having in a specific market? Again, we want these to be specific because we're going to get better conversions when we're targeting problems and markets in exchange for their lead and their opt-in. That's basically what a lead magnet is. And then we say why.
Greg, can I jump in and just say a thing about this specific market? Because you're introducing like a very important concept, which goes back to segmentation. Right, so what you want to do is really like know the people that you're going to be targeting, and the craft this lead magnet and this landing page to the needs of the specific market. Right, so it's very, very important. Not everybody is the same. So you really want to know like what kind of message you want to craft for that specific market. And that goes to segmenting. Taking those potential markets nicely by profiles or personas so that you can be more specific, and doing so you can get great conversions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And hey, Ricardo, I don't know, I think while I'm going through some of these slides, you should go look for a microphone, because I'm not even sure that what you're saying is audible. I mean, it's not for me in here. In my office, I'm not hearing. He's in the other office, so you're not even there. So, I mean, I guess too. The other thing too is you could come sit at my desk, but it's not working. Your screen is not. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So back to me. So why lead magnets, right? Here's why lead magnets. Your visitors want immediate gratification and something they can sink their teeth into now. Lead magnets give them that. So again, if I met, and I love the analogy, I like telling stories. So the analogy of if I'm going out and I'm dating, right, or I'm looking for a date, and I meet somebody that I really like this girl, and I ask her to marry me on the very first second that she comes to my website, or comes in my presence, it's never going to happen. Just not going to happen, right? So just like dating, you've got to court your website visitors. You got to court these people with information, with a solution, with something that's intriguing to them, and that's what this is going to do. That's the whole point about this. So, okay, and here is where I really want you to focus on. You got to find their cheese. What is their cheese? What is your ideal prospect's cheese? Right? This is what's so about it. It's like, there's that story that a mouse will, eat through a brick wall, or, they'll eat through anything to get to the other side of that wall if the cheese is there, right? So you got to figure out what is your ideal customer's cheese, right? And so here's some examples, kind of referred to as sideways marketing. So on the left-hand column we have the market, and on the right-hand column we have lead magnets. So for instance, you have investors, right? So investors, a great lead magnet would be the top 10 dividend stocks, right? Or the top dividend stocks, for people over 50, right? So you can kind of specify the niche, but there's a really good example of market lead magnet. And again, let's talk about Forex traders. If you're going after Forex traders and your lead magnet is Meta Trader Tutorials, now I don't even know what Meta Trader Tutorials is, but if you're a Forex trader, you know what that is. That's a real specified thing within a niche that might solve a problem and help them with that. Really good lead magnet for the Forex traders. Bloggers, let's say you're a blogger and you want to appify your blog, right? So it's a lead magnet targeted towards that. The single guys, the KISS test. You think about that. I'm trying to get it out here. So I've been married for so long, I don't know what this. I don't even know what a single guy is, right? But a single guy, it's like the test KISS is how to know if you can get that kiss on your first date, right? The KISS test, when to go in for the first kiss, right? Horse owners, stop cribbing. Again, I don't own a horse, so I don't really know what cribbing is, but we know that horse owners know what cribbing is, and it's an issue, it's a problem, and they want to do that. Golfers, preppers, you guys get the point, right? So you really need to think about what's the cheese for your market that's going to compel them to give them. Now think about this. When somebody gives you your name and email, That's like an order. They're just not giving you money, but they're giving you private information. They're giving you the right to communicate with them. They're giving you something in exchange for something. So think of it as an order, right? So they do that. And words and titles matter a lot. You know, a little hint here, people do judge books by their covers, right? So it's really, really important that you really, really take the time to profile your customers, figure out what their cheese is, and work on the language. And let me give you an example. So here's a real good example that's just awesome. So maybe some of you listening today are familiar with the author Nora Hayden, who wrote a book called Astrological Love. And it was published originally in 1982, and here's the book cover. And this cover in this book sold less than 5,000 copies. They changed the name of the book. The book is exactly the same. They changed the name of the book, and it's now called How to Satisfy a Woman Every Time, ... and have her beg for more. Same content, same book, different title, republished in 1998, and they sold over 2.5 million copies. So words do matter, titles do matter, the cheese that you're offering to your customers matter, and you really need to think that through. If you're in the product creation standpoint, think it through ahead of time. If you already have your product creation done, your product or service done, you got to think that through as well. But this is the stuff that we're talking about. Can you imagine if you had a website, and again, on your first website, you had less than 5,000 sales or opt-ins, and then you redid some words, and you had over 2.5 million, right? That's the difference between going broke and making a fortune. And that's what we want you guys to understand with lead magnets. So we're going to start going into some tips now. So the first tip on your title, which is your headline, right? Your headline is we want you to speak to the desired end result. How to win friends and influence people. Wake up productive. Getting things done. Try to speak to the end result, and that's going to help you with, you know, enticing your ideal customer to take you up on your lead magnet. Another tip would be reduction to the absurd, right? So these are things like the 4-Hour Work Week. That book exploded and sold just so many copies. It's unbelievable because people were enticed, and it's absurd to think that I could only work 4 hours a week and make money, right? The 4-Hour Work Week, or the 25-hour day. 3 tiny movements that burn 3 pounds of belly fat in 3 minutes. I want that one. I have this belly fat thing going on, and it's like I either got to get Ricardo to take me on that 50-mile run every day, or I got to figure out the 3 tiny movements that burn down the belly fat in 3 minutes. I love that. That's a good one. So tip number 3, and you know what? I'm kind of going through this fast. Oh, you want to give a test? Here, go ahead and give us a test. Let's see what you sound like.
Well,
10 times.
I have a new microphone, so. Better?
Good job. No, that's way better.
So why don't you go back to that slide that you were showing? And I wanted to say, in regard to the title, right, that it's an important thing. Like, that was title tip number 2. You see here the 4-hour work week or the 25-hour day. So 3 tiny movements to burn 3 pounds of belly fat. You see how specific it is? This being specific helps a lot in building credibility and in capturing the attention of a prospect. Right? Does it make sense?
Yes.
So it is very, very important that when we build our landing page with a lead magnet, we can have like a catchy title that is specific and relevant to the audience, right, to the market. And that is absolutely key for the success of building like a lead magnet as well.
Okay. Now I'm looking at the chat box, and I'm trying to see if the people listening can hear us. Whoa. I'm not sure if you're doing that, but that's making all kinds of feedback. It's weird. It's like you sound much clearer, but you're still going in and out. It's like the internet connection or something. I don't know. It's like you're going in and out.
Okay.
So you guys listening out there, go ahead and tell me in the chat box if I sound okay, because I want to make sure. Maybe I'm thinking I sound okay and I don't sound okay either. And if that little bit from Ricardo sounded any better. Okay, cool. Well, they're a little bit delayed. Everyone's a little bit delayed on these Google Hangouts. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for that coming through, but we're gonna keep moving on. Yeah, they say I'm clear as a bell, but Ricardo, you're still a little fuzzy. You want to just come in here?
Sure.
Why don't you just come in here?
Yes, it's going to be fun.
Okay. We'll have them join me in my office. Okay, so now we're back to tip number 2. We're going to get back to this PowerPoint and we get some good audio. Now you can talk.
Fantastic.
Okay, so we want to be head-on and descriptive, right? So clarity really helps with your lead magnets, really helps with your opt-ins, really being clear how to use Pinterest for business, how to purify water, even urine. That's a really good one for the lifers, the people that are thinking that the world's coming to an end. Vertical and container gardening secrets. See how descriptive that is and how that really points to a specific person or a specific niche that you're really doing that, right?
However, if I may say, right, if we, for instance, like go through these 3 quotes, right, these catchy phrases, the second one, for me, it's particularly effective. Why? Because it's solving a problem, right? So it's extremely descriptive, and it's solving a problem. So that is like when you really have something, in case you are trying, to sell a product that solves that problem, because you're telling like your target market exactly, what kind of problem you're going to solve. Vertical and container gardening secrets, it's a little bit more vague, right? So which one do you think is going to convert better?
Well, I don't even know what container gardening secrets are, but maybe if I knew what that was, but I get your point.
Right. But so for our friends that are listening, right, and when they're writing that catchy phrase, right, you don't want to be carried over just by some glamorous words that get out of scope. You want to be on the target with catchy phrases that convey what kind of problems they're going to solve, and be as specific as possible, as we were saying, like in title tip number 2, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Good stuff. So now you kind of get an idea of some of the tips and how important that is. Now we want to turn these leads and this traffic into subscribers and get them on your list. So let's talk about some social triggers and opt-in boxes. And again, this stuff might be basics for some people, and for other people, they've never heard of this before. So if this is something that you understand, stay with us, because we're going to show you some examples and some case studies, and it's going to help everybody. But for those people that don't even know what an opt-in box is, we want to show you that. So, and again, it's amazing how many businesses that we work with, how many entrepreneurs we come across, how many, whether they're 1 million, 50 million, 10 million, or a startup, and they don't have an opt-in box on their website. So here's just an example of an opt-in box on the Social Triggers website, right? They're asking for you to opt in, and there it is, right? You've got to have a mechanism for people to opt in. Here's another one for the Urban Survival Guide. So, and this is a collapsible one, but it's an example of get free access to 6 survival reports, right? Put their email in, and it's got a visual of this, the 6 reports, and it's on a content page, and free access to all reports. And what we want to pick out with this stuff is the titles, the opt-in boxes, the colors. A lot of this stuff has been tested for optimization to get the best results possible.
So one quick step back on the definition of lead magnets and what we're trying to accomplish here, right? So our goal is to build the list. So for those that have never seen lead magnets, even the word doesn't mean much. So what are we trying to accomplish here? We're building a page that is going to have like a field, as you can see like from the slide, where like the people, when they come to this page, they are going to be enticed to put down their name, right, and click the orange button to get like whatever you're offering. So the lead magnet is a free offer, right, for that you're giving to somebody for them to give you in exchange their name. Why? Because in the future, once you have their name in the database, you're going to be emailing them back with other products that instead are going to be generating revenues for you. Right?
Absolutely, that's what it's all about. The ethical bribe to get them the right to market to them. So here's another one on Survival Life, where you have the email and you're subscribed. And again, I think that's a pretty weak offer right there, but it is on the sidebar, and we're going to kind of keep pointing some of the stuff out. But to ask somebody to subscribe to your newsletter is a very, very weak offer, right? It's like I wouldn't even do that. That would be something we optimize, and we want to do it different. But the idea is we do want them on the sidebar, and we do want them above the fold, meaning that I don't want somebody to have to scroll down to see the opt-in offer. And again, here's the next slide. I get a little ahead of myself. So just by doing stuff, I say get email updates. It's free. Join. Free email updates. Subscribe. Get our free newsletter. That's weak, right? So we really, really want to be more descriptive. We want to really, really be good at what's going on there, because people don't opt into these things. I mean, you will, but conversion-wise, you might get 1 out of 100 as opposed to 30 out of 100. And again, it's the difference between going broke and making money. Now here's a good one at Social Media Examiner. This is kind of a local Southern California company. They do a great event, by the way, each year. And here it says, join 205,000 plus of your peers. Get our latest articles delivered to your email inbox and get the free Facebook marketing video tutorial. And then notice the button says, I love the updates. That's clever. That's different. That's soft. That's awesome. And again, the social proof that they put in this, 205,000 of your peers, that's social proof. They have, that's just saying, hey, 200,000 people are on this newsletter and getting this stuff and getting this information, and then they're going to give me the Facebook marketing video tutorial. That's a nice opt-in. It's above the fold. It's got a good call to action. And they even have a more info button there. So that's a good one. I like that one.
And again, that one, Greg, going back to knowing your audience, right? Knowing your specific market is like when you are on the Social Media Examiner, what are people that go to this page? What do they want? They really want content. They want updates. And that's exactly how this lead magnet is built. If you're selling products, for instance, and you know the pain points of your customers, it can be, for instance, like sign in like for free coupons, right? Sign in for discounts for free shipping, right?
Right.
And then like you're gonna get like a higher conversion.
Yep, absolutely. So here's another one on the sidebar, and this is a deeper one. Free course, double your traffic in 30 days, plus a secret bonus valued at $300. This amazing course will teach you step by step how to double or triple your traffic over the next 30 days. Fill out the form and start your free course. Now, I like the ethical bribe for the course to get that going. What I don't like is that they have to spend 30 days to consume the course, because most people won't spend the 30 days to consume the course, and so therefore they drop off. So I prefer to have lead magnets where they can consume them immediately, literally right away, and you can build that short and rapport. That you can build the rapport and the trust right away in a very short period of time. And so I always tell them, give away your best stuff, give away your best tip, give away your best strategies, your best tactics. But if you make them have to go through something for 30 days, human nature is 20% of them will do it and 80% won't, so you lost the 80%.
And what do you think here is there's another ethical bribe? You see on the headline, plus a secret bonus valued at $300. What do you think about that? And would have you done it differently? You think like the secret aspect is enticing enough, valued at $300, and people are wondering like what is going to be like?
Well, I think the ethical bribe's pretty good. You're going to get people in, but again, we're going to talk about testing on future web classes. But you really want to split test this and test this stuff. And I'm just saying you want to give them something they can consume right away, so that we're instant gratification society. I want my lead magnet. I want them to consume 1 page of information, 1 10-minute video, 20-minute video with some of my best content, so they go, wow, that was awesome. Then they read my next email. Then they read my next email, because but if you just want to. So again, I'm sure that the opt-in's working. So depending on the back end of that, who knows? And there's just millions of examples, right? Now here's another strategy that we think is one of the best strategies of all, and it's called a double click process. So on your website you have an image, and it says this stock will explode when HR 1380 passes, and it's referring to a law, and there's a little bit of language there that you can't really read. But then when they click that, it says click here to watch this stunning video. And then when they click there, a light box pops up, which is basically a box over your website. So they only have one thing to do, is close the box or give you their email. And then it says, you know, enter your email address and click continue. And what we're doing is, this is what we call a micro action, or a mini action. What we're finding in all of our split testing is that when you get somebody to make one click, then they've already made somewhat of a commitment, they're more likely to put their email address in. Now we're seeing better conversion ratios with the double process than we are just by putting the email address in that box. So we're testing this stuff all the time, and in most situations we're seeing this convert better, but not all, so you always want to test stuff and see what works. Here's another example of an image that that popped up, and it was a banner, and it popped up, you know, it's like a fake banner. It was a banner, and then you clicked it, it popped up to give your email address. So it gave you an offer for growing up inside the ins and outs of gardening, and then you had to put your email to get it, to do it. So another example of that same model. Now another one that I've been using for years and years and years to help put on my website, and there's lots of tools like this. This is the one that I use. It's called Pop-Up Domination, and it's one of these little pop-ups that goes on your website that you know, when you go to a website and you try to leave, or you can program it to after 10 seconds, after 30 seconds, a little window drops down, you make your ethical bribe, and they can take you up on the ethical bribe, or they can leave, or if they try to leave your page, it can pull up. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do with that. And then here's another really, really good strategy. So if you're a blogger, and I know we have a couple bloggers listening in today, and you're writing blogs, you can use fake post opt-ins, and we use lead pages for doing a lot of this stuff. And what you can do is you can make an image, and you can click that image, and how I grew TechCrunch traffic by 60 days, and when you click on that image, or you can put a link in your text with lead links with that, it'll pop up a box and get them to opt in. So it's an in-post ad that doesn't look like an opt-in box, but if you get them engaged because your content's so good, they will give you an email, and you can give them the opportunity to opt in.
And maybe we can, as a little present for our listeners and those that are like familiar with WordPress and they use WordPress to build their websites, we can say, if you use Optimized Press as a theme, there is a specific feature called the Overlay Optimizer that you can use. And what that does is you upload an image, and then this image has a side box when you're building it that allows you to build any opt-in box. So you can do it like over text, you can do it over images, right? So you click on it and pops up like this window for the opt-in.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to do little snippets like that and upload them to our blog.
Yep.
So here's another one. This is another good one that I like, this strategy that Jonathan Fields does. And Jonathan Fields, at the end of every blog post, he has, hey, if you enjoyed this post, you'll love my newsletter. Get blog updates plus a chance to win a 1-hour brainstorming session, plus a special newsletter only dispatches events and discounts, and plus the secret to eternal life. Hint, it involves dark chocolate. And he has an opt-in box. So he puts that opt-in box at the end of every single blog post, and he gets a lot of great opt-ins from that. It's a great little way to do it. And this is kind of what you were talking about. This is another tool that we've used in the past, but with Optimized Press it's built in. But you can get this. It's called Opt-in Skin, and it does the same thing you were just talking about. It's an overlay for your website that you can do kind of stuff, and also in your videos. You can make them right in your videos. You can put this into your video so they can opt in at the end of a video, which is another great strategy. Now, we use, what's that?
Easy Video Player.
Easy Video Player. We use an Easy Video Player for that. And then here's another example of a Lightbox popover that's on the Early to Rise site by, I forgot her name. Can't remember her name. But another great one. If you like the thought of being good at everything you do and enjoying all life's experiences, you know, and there's a solicitation for a newsletter and an in-depth report, how multimillionaire Michael Masters built his wealth. Sign up right here. If you're going to offer a quote-unquote newsletter and get that permission to send them on a regular basis, I like giving them enough information so they understand what the newsletter is.
And I want to stress out again, we're going to be talking more about testing, that what you want to do is you want to give it your best shot with the choice of words, right? But then try variations and test, measure, because the response that you're going to get is not predictable at all. You will be surprised that many times at what actually pulls like greater conversions, something that you could not really say. If somebody would tell you, use this word instead of this other one, it doesn't make any sense. But for some reason, there are certain things that work better than others, and what you want to do is use your best judgment, and then just test, and go toward that optimization is going to gain you like a 20, 30 additional, more percentage points in conversion.
I've tested headlines and had as a lot of times, you get a percentage, 2%, 3%, 2%, 3%. But I've had headlines where personally on my pages, 18%, 30% increase. And I even remember one time I had like a 78% increase just by changing the headline. 70%, 8% increase. And you think about that.
It's mind-boggling.
And you go, okay, if I'm getting 100 visitors, that's almost 8 more leads, right? But if I'm getting 1,000 visitors, that's 80 leads. If I'm getting 10,000 visitors, that's 8,000 more leads. So it's huge, right? It's just huge. So here's another tool that we've used in the past. It's called like a little bar opt-in. It's called Hello Bar. And on Hello Bar, it slides down from the top, and it gives people a chance to opt in as well. And you can do some different things. It's a really cool little tool, hellobar.com. And I like it. I like it for some websites, and you want to make sure you're not distracting from whatever. But if you have a blog or a content website, it's a real good way to get people to call to action on every page on your website and get them to do it. It's simple, easy peasy to install, and it doesn't cost that much hardly at all. And here's another one. My son created our own little program like this, but it pops up from the bottom, where it slides up from the bottom, and you can have a little image, and kickstart your website for free with max traffic. Get your 7-day step-by-step blueprint now. And again, I would play with the opt-in language here, but that also is a really good strategy. So you guys see what we're doing here? We're talking about sidebar opt-ins, down from the top opt-ins, up from the bottom opt-ins, in your post opt-ins. Everywhere you go, the more you can do it. Now you can't do overkill and have obvious opt-ins everywhere. You got to use a combination of all these and use the ones that work best for the different pages that do that. And here's one of the softwares that does instant slide up. And we've seen 25% more opt-ins when you use these slide ups, and they get good click-through rates. It helps skyrocket your sales. And we don't own this software. It's just one of many out there. Like I said, my son created one, but we only use it internally. We don't even sell it.
So it's kind of like we're abstracting the original concept or idea of lead magnet, and we're sticking really to the definition of lead magnet, which is really you're de-anonymizing the user, right? You're grabbing a name, and it doesn't matter now if it is like a bar that is popping like from the top or from the bottom, or if it is like a full-blown page like this one that we're looking at right now, right?
Right. Well, and again, it just goes back to you got to build a list, and you got to communicate with lists. You got to build trust with a list, and that's what's going to help you grow. Now, I just think this is amazing. So a lot of times we talk about squeeze pages, and like a squeeze page is where, hey, you can opt in or you can leave. And here at the White House, when Obama came into office and they kind of did some stuff, whitehouse.gov is a squeeze page. There's a screenshot, and it's like, stay informed. Give us your name and email, or no, go to the site. So you can see they had a button on the bottom right, no thanks, go to the website. It's one of the most popular opt-in pages in the world. Just like, guess who else has the most popular squeeze page in the world? What's the #1 most popular the company that has a squeeze page for their homepage? Facebook.
Oh, right.
You can't get into Facebook. You can't do anything with Facebook without giving name and information to create an account.
Yeah.
It's create an account or leave. That's it.
Yes. They've set a trend, and now like
Exactly.
so many websites, right, that grab the name up in front.
And here's another opt-in page that they had on one of their sites that they tried a different version of. So again, it was stay informed, and they had a link, no thanks, go to the website. And I actually like that strategy. I've used that strategy on a number of my sites where I have a squeeze page on the front end of a content-oriented site, and I have no thanks, go to the site, but I try to get them to opt in before they start. And it works really, really well for a lot of different sites and different things. And here's another example of that. So it's like an opt-in page with a lot of content, a video, that kind of stuff, but at the very bottom, underneath name and email, says, or you can skip this and go straight to our blog. So that's a good one. That's a good strategy. So here's another example of that, right? So another just nice squeeze page All you can do is either opt in or no, thanks, take me to the site. So a lot of people that argue against squeeze pages, this is a good way for you to overcome that, because we know that squeeze pages where your choice is give me your name or leave generates leads, right? So this is a little softer where I can go to the site and it works. So let's break down some of the elements that make up a good one. And this was I guess I'm not gonna give that big link, but you got a logo, so it's professionally branded. It's branded lifestyle and image. So again, who's your audience? You know, if it was financial, like maybe some of the stuff we do with Angel Investors Network, we would brand it differently, right? What's our purpose statement, which is number 3? Daily Worth is a community of women who talk money, right? And then you kind of have, that's your number 3, your purpose statement. Then 4 is that it's above the fold and it's simple, right? Simple, clean, elegant, above the fold. And then we always want to offer the privacy policy underneath the opt-in form, where it's like, you know, hey, we respect your privacy. We're never going to sell or rent your information. Or you can even click on it and a little light box could pop up and say your privacy policy. And then, of course, the no thanks link to go do that. And then I would even add a number 7 to this, is underneath this, as seen on the New York Times, Cosmopolitan, Forbes, Inc. Now you're giving it that credibility, which goes back to your professional logo and branding. That's on the bottom too. And I promise you, if you take away as seen on the New York Times, Cosmopolitan, Forbes, you take that away, it will lower conversions on that page. You add it, increase conversions, lower it, take it off, decrease the conversions every time.
So there is another element here, Greg, that comes to my mind, because now this has become more of the norm. But those that haven't really gone through the evolution of the industry, one of the critical mistakes building lead magnets like this one is to add content that you think the users are going to be interested in, but actually, like what it does, it takes away from the page. It distracts the user. I've seen so many times clients that have built landing pages with links so that the user, when it would land on that page, will click on that link and will be booted out from the website, right? And then you have lost your opportunity to capture the name. So if we look at this page, look at how 100% focused is on getting that name. There's nothing else that is distracting you, right?
Right.
And that is like absolutely critical at building a successful landing page. A page that is 100% built for the purpose of capturing the name.
Yep. And then the other thing too, we've done split tests on, see the girl's eyes? She's looking at us. We've tested with the girl's eyes looking at the opt-in form, and most of the time when the eyes are looking at the opt-in form, you get increased conversions.
Yeah, fantastic.
On here's lead pages. Now we use lead pages, and I love lead pages. They're an awesome tool for the easy peasy beginner to get started and get going, and they help you create opt-in pages, squeeze pages, sales pages, webinar registration pages, lead links, and lead boxes. And it's a great program, and we can send you guys a link to use that. We'll be promoting that in our email sequences, because it really is a great way for the average person to get started using this as a tool to build their highly optimized, highly engaging, perfected type opt-in pages. So we've been talking about squeeze pages, and again, we already kind of jumped ourselves, but again, the squeeze page really is opt-in or leave. Right? There is no choice for no, thank you, let me go to the next page. It's opt-in or leave. Become a qualified prospect or leave, right? And that's something that we profess that everybody should use in some of their marketing and advertising and promotion in the right place. Now, it doesn't need to be your home page, but when you drive traffic and you're advertising and sending traffic, you don't ever want to send traffic to a page where the customer has multiple choices, unless you're like a magazine-oriented site where you have content. When you're trying to sell a product or service or generate a highly qualified lead, you want to send them to a squeeze page that talks to that lead, talks to that age, talks to that gender. And let's say we have a product or service we market both to men and women. We might build a lead page, squeeze page for women, and a squeeze page for men. And as we advertise, we send them to each page to make sure we're talking their language to them for that particular lead capture moment.
Let me say another thing here that raises the bar in terms of like optimization and testing, right? In our experience, I don't know if you remember, like for the client, like in the sports industry, that was selling a product, and we had 2 landing pages. One that was
with a lot of like written text and testimonies and so forth, and the other one instead was a lot simpler. Well, testing the 2 pages, actually, what we found out is that we could maximize conversions if we would use the most convoluted form in the first half hour of the launch of the landing page, and the simpler form instead later on. The first one will convert for those that will be the early adopters and will respond immediately to the message, right? And they will go there and they will be eager for information. They will convert, you know, really, really well. But later on, instead, there will be kind of like a, you know, the long wave that comes after the response to an email, like it has a little bit less of a motivation, and it's not apt for reading a lot of text, a lot of things. So actually, when you bring this science, you know, to that level, you can actually have 2 pages that you swap over time, and you can say like, okay, I'm going to be using this one in the first hour, I'm going to be using this other one instead for the remaining time.
And that goes back
to,
yeah, no, that is interesting, and it goes back to knowing your market and surveying and profiling your customer and starting to learn some of these philosophies and then doing that kind of stuff and split testing. So there's just some different squeeze pages. I'm not going to spend too much time on these because they are what they are, right? They're just squeeze pages with a headline and an opt-in box and that kind of stuff. And it's just great stuff, and everybody can create these. Everyone needs to create these. And here's another good example I will point out. So this is a squeeze page where above the fold we have the opt-in box. Then we have more information, more information, more information. They're scrolling down, and boom, I like what I read. I'm ready to opt in, and we have another opt-in below that. So I was recommending that to a client yesterday. And again, I like the branding of it. And then we like video squeeze pages. Here's one Ryan Dice did with the authority codes, where it's a video squeeze page with a double opt-in. And we do a lot of videos squeeze pages. And you know, depending on if you're good on video, they convert well. And you have the doodle cartoon videos, you have the PowerPoint videos, and you have the talking head videos. And we have found, and all the friends in our community, we've found that typically the doodle videos convert better than the PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint converts better than talking head. And in those rare instances where you're really, really good on video, they might outperform the doodles and the other ones. So again, the elements of one of these would be, you know, attention-getting headline, the graphic of the lead magnet, a horizontal opt-in bar, meaning it's going from right to left across the whole thing, a compelling short-form copy sales letter, JavaScript warning pop-up. So if they say, oh, I want to watch this video, they clicked on that little video, it pops up and says, hey, you got to opt in to watch this video. Then compelling captions under each lead magnet component, some bullet points there, and a below-the-fold opt-in. So you think this through. It's not hard to do. You can do this, and you just think it through based on what you're doing. And this is kind of what we do at Report Card Marketing. And you know, we help coach people and mentor. And if it gets to execution, we can even do execution as well.
Yeah, and you know, shortly we're going to open up like to some questions. But I see that Mark is actually pinging us like and asking like, how do you actually build a page? Well, we're going to have like another webinar where we're going to be walking you to the physical construction of the page and what are the different options, right?
Very cool. So here's another thing to keep in mind too when it comes to graphical design. So you know, there's through heat mapping, and I don't know if you guys know what that is, but through Google and all kinds of different tools, they've done all kinds of studies, and they've hooked up computers to humans, and they've tracked their eyes, and we know that we're just 90% or 70%, I don't know what it is, but we start from the left, we read to the right, and we go down, right? So from the way that works is the eye path. Forget the copy. They're reading the headline. They're seeing the picture of the lead magnet. They're seeing the free download. They're seeing the video. They're seeing another picture of the lead magnet and get this report for free. So you think about how the eyes will follow the page when you start to do this stuff as well. And another final tip with some of the stuff, this one, in this particular test with Forex, it outperformed like 20% other ones. That, you know, it's simple sometimes is better. Just sometimes the simplest little head time with a great ethical bribe, give me your email, is gone. Now the other thing we know too, you know, so this one's email only. We haven't brought this up. So you can ask for first name and email, and the other day they were doing name, email, and phone number. Well, we know by removing the phone number field in a test we did just recently, increased conversions by 17%. So by, you know, you're lowering your conversions by asking for a phone number, and even by asking a first name, you're losing 2 to 4 or 6% in some cases just by asking a first name. And so you got to test it. And do you need the first name? If you don't need the first name, don't ask for it. You're gonna get more leads.
The interesting thing of the first name is because when you actually reach back to them, when you start the email with their first name, like Dear Valerie, it has like a greater conversion, right? So you got to find that trade-off, right, on your overall conversion. Let's not forget that what you are shooting for is really your marketing objective to generate revenues. So this one of building the list is the first step, but the second step is actually like how you're going to be selling products in order to generate revenues, and you want to look at like the overall conversion, right?
Yeah. No, it's a process where you map it out first, methodically, all the way from A to Z, so everything ties together.
Yes.
Everything's got to tie together. This is one I liked because I've been following the Motley Fool since like 1997, and the one stock you need to own. Watch this free video, and it's just a real simple headline. I got to watch this video about the stock I should own, email address, opt-in, and of course on the bottom of the page it has disclaimers in terms of service and some credibility that who they are. But it was a page that worked really, really good. And here's another one that Ryan Dice and those guys did it over at Digital Marketer. How to sell 100 books a day on Amazon Kindle. 43% opt-in rate on cold traffic. That's it. How simple is that, right? One headline, that's it. Free report, branded with their logo. Notice they have the phone number and the stuff up top. So again, gives credibility that I'm not at stuff. And like we were talking about our client today about that one funnel. Maybe that's something what we do. Need help? And just put something up there that's going to outperform. So one of the things that we run into is that we know stuff that performs better. And let me say it this way. So between our split testing and our traffic, and then we're in the community of internet marketers that get millions and millions and millions and millions of views of traffic, and we share, and I buy their information, I buy their courses, and I learn this stuff. Like all the stuff I'm showing you, I've been taught, right? It wasn't like I created everything. But so we have what we call our control. So we know we're going to start. We know that orange buttons typically outpull any other color of a button. So that's our control. So if our control is we want to have some credibility, we want to go with that, and then a client argues with us, no, we don't want that. So that's why we say right in our little thing, if you want us to work with you, you got to do what we say.
Yes.
And we'll let the results prove us wrong. Now again, we're not right all the time. I tell people I'm a marketing genius, but I'm only right half the time. But I know how to split test, and I know what the controls should be to start with. So we start by getting higher conversions and tracking the average person, and then we split test our way to profitability.
That's one of the fun sides of data. When you have a conversation, for instance, like with some executives at a client firm, and they have like a personal preference for let's say a color like white or orange, and each one says his, then you run the testing, right? And there's one that is pulling like 6, 7, 8 times more than the other. Like that's the end of the discussion. It's like, I don't care like what's your personal preference. This is pulling 8 times more. Everybody agrees. Everybody aligns. It's fantastic.
Now here's a great example, going in line with what we're talking about. So the free, the free thing and the free report. Look at this. So the top left, she's looking at the opt-in box. We've proven through split testing that they get more opt-ins when the person's looking at the opt-in box. That was 55.35% conversion. The one to the right, where you have a girl in the bikini looking at it, 54%. So not a big difference. Now again, if you're doing 100,000 visitors, it's a difference in making money, but not that much. Then the bottom left, 53%, not that much, but it is a little bit different. But look at the other one, 60%. So now we've got a 5% increase on the top left from the bottom right, and now we're talking, 100,000 visitors, that's a lot.
Yep.
It's a lot of money that you're leaving on the table. And then again, the point is, if we optimize our lead magnets, and then we optimize our tripwires, and then we optimize our core offers, and then we optimize the shopping cart and the checkout page, and then we optimize our emails, and we optimize everything. We get 3% here, 5% here, 2% here, 4% here, 3% here, and in every one of those things, that's how we double your business. That's how we double your business.
One thing that strikes me also, Greg, is that here we're talking about 55 versus 60, but many times the difference is like 15 versus 50. There is a striking difference because you are again testing using your best judgment, and so those are also those things that you want to go for, right? Something that is like screaming at you, that is converting a lot better and those are like those golden nuggets of testing.
Yep. No, and again, you look at some of this stuff and you see what's going on, and getting 60% opt-in rate is not the norm, right? We shoot for 30%, so we usually start at 15 or 20. We try to work our way up to 30%. But again, my point is increasing.
I once got 84.6%, and the owners of the marketing suite, like, they actually pinged me. They said, like, how the hell did you do that? 84.6.
Nice.
And that's like when you're so relevant, right? And your market segment is so specific that you're giving them exactly what they want, and that's when you get like this striking convergence.
That's awesome. So here's a couple things. We're wrapping things up, and we're gonna see if we got any questions out there. Recommended tests. So you obviously want to test your title, the timing of your lead magnet delivery. Do you give it to them right away? Is it over 7 days? Is it over 30 days? You want to think about that, and then you want to think about, do you give it to them immediately, or do you make them check their email and confirm their email to get it? Now, a lot of times we do that. It's like, we want them to make sure we get a good email address, not a bogus email address, so we'll make them redeem and get their lead magnet via their email. Check your email to get your lead magnet, and then that way you can also tell them, hey, make sure you approve our email so we don't get caught in spam filters, that kind of stuff. Landing page length and type. Depending on the complexity of your offer, your product, your service, you might want to have a longer one. You gotta look at that. Again, your page headline has got to be there, and the opt-in frequency, right? So it says landing page frequency, but it means more opt-in on more pages, right?
Mm-hmm.
So more the more ability on, especially on a content-oriented site, a blog, for instance. On your blog, give them multiple ways to opt in, and continue to add to that, and continue to try different stuff, and watch your list start to grow and take you to a different thing. So here's your homework for you guys. So your homework we want you to do right now is we want you, not right now, but as soon as we get done with this hangout, which we're not quite done, is we want you to sit down and brainstorm 3 lead magnet titles. And what is that? What are those? What are the titles? And what would those be? And my goal for you would be that we want you to go and execute and implement 3 lead page landing pages, 3 separate lead magnets, 3 separate landing pages, and figure out a way to get those implemented. If you need help with us, we're going to share with you how you get help.
I wanted to say, why don't we do this? The first 3 that are going to be submitting us like their titles, we can offer them feedback. No.
Ricardo wants to offer feedback. We got like 1,000 people on the call, and it's like.
Well, I said the first 3. Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Do you want to do that?
It's fun because like you see certain things, and then for us that we've seen so many, we can immediately say, well, look, here you're like on the right track, or here you're completely off track.
Well, I would say this. So if in fact you would like to have us work with you at Report Card Marketing, and I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and get rid of this. So we'll just do this. There we are. So if you would like to. If you like what you saw here, it's free content, we're not charging for it, but you want to work with us and you want help on brainstorming, strategy, tactics, and even implementation, then we want you to go to reportcardmarketing.com. So we launched a new website where we're.
So let me say this. This is one of the best webinars. I say that with pride, right? Because we're running it. But there's no upsell at the end, but rather this is like a great opportunity. Our latest client, Nancy, right, like signed up about 2 weeks ago, and then got $30,916 last week over the first week of consultation. So really, getting us on board is a great thing for the person that get us on board, because is making their investment like 10 times or more over.
Well, here's what we want to do. So here's our goal. Our goal, 1, is to provide value to everybody that comes within an earshot of us. We want to provide value. We want you to be able to take this stuff and use actionable items and take it with you. We also want you to think about us when you are in need of anything marketing, online related, execution, funnels, lead magnets, tripwires, coaching, consulting, anything. We want you to think about us, and our website's reportcardmarketing.com. And we want you to refer business to us, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to continue to do a series of these, and then we're going to take them down and put them in our members area. And we have a little membership site for our clients and our customers only, and that way they have the tools to come back and do this. So we can recommend to you as well. If you have a service where you teach and train, you could do the same thing we're doing. So let's see if we have any questions out there. Do you have any? If you have any questions, go ahead and type it in the chat box, and we'll answer your questions before we hang up. We're going to call it. We're going to call it quits here in just a few minutes. So Jim is asking us, what software do we use to host our websites? Well, we primarily use WordPress.
Yeah.
So primarily, I said now Ricardo's very, very familiar with CSS, HTML coding, and Joomla, but I only know WordPress.
Right. So this is a little bit of a dilemma for those that get into the execution piece, right? We talked about lead pages, we talked about pop-up domination. There are so many tools out there. At the same time, when you choose a content management platform like WordPress, there are also a number of themes and plugins that come with some of these elements included. So there is like you're going to use your best judgment, a little bit like what you probably have today, what you can access, right? And make the judgment call on what's going to work for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've done WordPress, Joomla, also straight coding, PHP.
Yeah, but if you're new and you're asking that question, you want to go with something like WordPress because you can go WordPress themes. You can have it all built, every website built in a couple hours. It's simple, easy. Mary's asking a question. So when people put their email address into these boxes, where does that information go? So we use a product called Automated Sales Machine, and you can check it out at automatedsalesmachine.com. And automatedsalesmachine.com is a shopping cart. It's an email marketing system, so where you can do what's called sequential email marketing, where you can program emails to go out on a sequential basis over a predetermined time frame, as well as allows you to do broadcast emails. So you want to go and email your entire database. It does broadcasting. It allows you to tag your database. So if somebody comes in and they got this lead magnet or they're this kind of a customer, you can tag them, and then you can do searches and email it to people based on a search and a tag. It has ad tracking, which is super cool, where when we do an email campaign like we did for Nancy, you can use email tracking codes, and we track how much earnings per click and how many conversions we had from an email that we sent out. It has an affiliate marketing module, so if your model is to get other people to help drive traffic to your website and help you market your product or service, it has that all built in, and it's only $129 a month, and there's no setup fee. Now, if you're the type of person that says, got it, get it, need it, don't want to deal with it, don't want to set it up, we can provide that service as well. We have people on our team that do setup for Automated Sales Machine. Now, we also know a lot of people that have used Infusionsoft. Now, we love Infusionsoft. We have clients that use Infusionsoft. Ricardo is extremely familiar with getting around and using Infusionsoft.
Or Entreport.
Or Entreport as well. And so we also can help you with that as well. So if you possibly have Infusionsoft and you don't know what to do with it and you can't figure it out, it's nicknamed Confusionsoft. You can contact us. And there's other products out there just for email marketing, like Aweber and Constant Contact and iContact and GetResponse. And I have my favorites that we use for that. And we can help recommend that stuff to you as well. So again, if that's something you need some help with, just go to Report Card Marketing, check that out, and we'll see if we can get you some help there.
So we have a few more questions coming in, but I think we have to wrap it up. I'm going to take the next one. I don't know, why don't you pick another one?
Okay, well, Marta's asking, what do we think of Wix? It's grown up and comparable to WordPress these days, but much easier for the average small business. Do you have any experience and comments on Wix? I've seen it. I've looked at it. I've never used it. And, you know, we got in with WordPress when WordPress came out. I actually met Noah, the founder of WordPress, and I've never gone to anything else because it is free on as far as the themes. And you buy the themes.
Yeah. May I say, Marta, also, you know, my opinion from a technical standpoint. All these tools or platforms offer you a product that is crafted in a certain way, but you want to also opt for that platform that allows you to have a certain degree of flexibility. So you have the trade-off between like executing quickly, but also being able to do some customization for what you want to accomplish, right? And to me, Wix might fall short from that standpoint, because also WordPress offers you like solutions that are templates, but you can still change things, add specific coding that allows you, for instance, to achieve those results for pop-ups and the things that we talked about.
Yeah. Well, and along those lines too, the thing about WordPress, Marta, is internet marketers all over the world have created all kinds of cool plugins. For instance, we just bought one this morning because, and we'll be doing a webinar and a web class on this as well, but I'm doing surveys. And so we bought a product this morning called Survey Funnel, and it just plugs right into WordPress, easy peasy, tested, proven, and it's going to allow us to do what we want to do with quizzes and surveys much easier than some other thing that you might not be able to find for Wix. So depending on how important it is or how hard it is to move, see, I always look at the ROI going, if I was going to move from one platform for another, what's the ROI on doing that? What's the
right.
You got to look at all that stuff. And of course, she's going to be at our offices tomorrow for our open house. So okay, so let's go on and see if we got any more questions.
Well, there was Peter that was asking what happens actually to the email, right? Kind of like how do you say piggybacks to the former question. What does happen when somebody fills the box, the field with their email address and clicks yes, get me in. What does happen? Well, obviously you want to have a thank you page, but there are a number of things also that you can do there. Like for instance, you can dive into what we call the tripwires, right? And that is going to be the topic of another webinar. And so here, lead magnets is one piece of the market equation. And what we want to do with this series of webinars, we want to peel the onion and start taking on all these elements of the market equation and walk you through it.
Yeah, and again, the next one that we're going to do is either going to be on funnels or tripwires. So that's coming up, and then we have core offers, and then we have upsells, downsells, cross sells, return path. There's this whole, like you said, the marketing equation that we want you guys to learn, because it's a process. And so here's the goal. The goal is that by listening and working with us and checking this out, is we're taking this big fire hose and trying to put it into a faucet so you can drink and take little bits and pieces and take one step at a time. So it's very sequential, right? We don't want to go get into funnels until we figured out what our lead magnets and our tripwires are. You can't implement a whole funnel until you understand this stuff. And once we want you to understand the whole thing, so it's sequential in the way we're going to be teaching and training this stuff and making this stuff available to you. So I don't see any more questions coming in. Let me just look real quick and scroll up and down. Do you see any more? Let's see here.
Well, I don't know. So I think we're 5 minutes over.
Okay. So I don't see any more coming in. If you guys do have some questions, I think that they'll be emailed to us through this system. So we want to say thanks for checking us out. So go ahead, check out reportcardmarketing.com. And keep in mind, this is a funnel that we've created for ourselves, real simple, down and easy for us, that's hopefully going to attract our ideal client. Like, we want to work with everybody, but like everybody, we can't work with everybody, and we want to attract the kind of people that we want to work with. And so by you just looking at Report Card Marketing, you kind of see what we're up to and how we're doing it. And obviously we'll be changing that, split testing that, and doing things there as well. And if you're an entrepreneur and you want to check out Angel Network, you can check out angelnetwork.com as well. So this is Greg Ratter saying thank you very much. We appreciate your time, and we hope to see you and meet you someday soon.
Ciao from Riccardo Caruso. Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.